is it the shoes?
It's college football bowl time. He's Tony George. I'm Scott Spreitzer. We are DocSports.com. Before we get to our how to bet the bowl season, listen, there's a great offer going on at DocSports.com each and every day. If you're yet to be a member, become a member at DocSports.com. All you got to do is click on the link below this video and set yourself up for a free $60 account. You can use those free $60 on any of his daily packages, any of mine, or anybody else on the roster at DocSports.com. And it comes with the DocSports guarantee. Check it out. Great time to do it because we got a whole bunch of bowl games that are starting on Friday, December 20th.
Who isn't playing in a bowl?
Unfortunately, our team.
Nebraska.
The Nebraska
third year in a row. Anyway.
When I see Liberty at a bowl game and I see Nebraska's not,
oh my goodness,
it's like getting kicked in the groin. So I've heard.
Boy.
But anyway, as far as the Bulls are concerned, and we're going to talk about how to best to approach beating the Bulls, got a few ideas that I want to throw out there, and Tony does also. And one of those right off the top is motivation.
Yep.
These pre-New Year's Day bowl games, a lot of teams that had bigger aspirations, higher aspirations before the season began, even during the course of the season, and then had some letdowns and some unexpected losses along the way, all of a sudden find themselves playing on lesser bowl games than they had hoped for. And watch team interviews, because these teams will take on other smaller teams usually in these pre-New Year's Day bowl games, these smaller programs, who are going to be excited to make that step up and play a Power 5 type of team if they don't get to do that often during the course of the regular season. So watch interviews. The Miami Hurricanes, listen, I don't know if I'm going to be on Miami or against them when they take on La Tech, but here's some early indications on maybe this team isn't highly motivated. They've talked about how they wanted to be in a bigger bowl game. They're not crazy about going to a bowl game in the state of Louisiana against Louisiana Tech. Mm-hmm. That's the situation for Miami. So they're already starting to say they're not real crazy about taking this game. Their fans don't travel well anyway. Tony, real quick note and an old way of handicapping bowls, just to get an idea of who might be motivated, watch ticket sales. Universities are allotted, sometimes 20,000 tickets for the bowl game. You'll see some universities sell out in no time. They'll sell 15, 20,000 allotted tickets. You'll see their opponent sell 1,000 tickets, 1,500 tickets, have to send the tickets back. That's normally, I know it sounds crazy, but everybody who's handicapped and bet for all these years knows this is a great tool to find out which program wants to be in the bowl game they're in, which program doesn't care. Couldn't care less.
And to add to your point, I know you got another point here, but to add to your point, I did some research. I don't have the exact number, folks, but ranked teams versus unranked teams, if you faded them since 2005, it's about a 55% winner.
Sure.
Fading those ranked teams. That means going against those ranked teams. Now, it doesn't work all the time, but you can pick and choose some spots and find some nice little crispy nuggets there, so to speak, about what Scott's saying.
I got another one for you here, and this has to do with underdogs, because long layoffs obviously happen from the end of the regular season right up until the bowl games. Some teams are off 4 weeks between games. And this kind of brings the underdogs a little bit closer to the favorites. It eliminates the big talent gap, because these bowl underdogs have had 3 or 4 weeks to focus on one team. 3 or 4 weeks. So listen, it doesn't mean you're going to get rich off of playing underdogs. It's about 50-50 over the last several years. But what you will find is something like 70% of the underdogs that have covered, over 70%, it's closing in on 75% over the last 10 or 11 years. Underdogs that have covered, about 75% of them have won the game outright. So if you like an underdog, especially these pre-New Year's Day bowl games, you might want to put a little bit of that bet on the money line and try to increase your profits.
And a couple other tips here real quick. Obviously, as you mentioned, look for reasons to take underdogs. Also, look for teams that run the football well.
Absolutely.
With these long layoffs here, passing attacks, let's just take a team just as an example, like a Washington State, where 75% of their offense is throwing the ball. That timing kind of dissipates off a long layoff, where teams that run the ball successfully and have all year have a lot better success in the bowl games, especially in the first half. And remember, you can still do some first half line betting. Also, coaching. I mean, take a look at coaches' records in bowl games. Some guys are motivators, some guys are not. As Scott mentioned, a lot of teams' motivation is going to be different, but if with a good coach that has a good track record in bowl games, much like if you're handicapped in the NFL in the preseason, and Jim Harbaugh, for instance, in the preseason, he's a good preseason coach, Pete Carroll. There's coaches like that in college football. And those programs that have some upheaval in the coaching, Memphis comes to mind, Appalachian State comes to mind. I don't know whether their coach is coaching that game or
for App State. Yeah.
For App State.
Memphis coach is going to Florida
Yeah.
State. He's already packed his bags.
And a lot of these teams too are losing coordinators. So see if they're coaching those bowl games or not. You can go to those local newspapers, sports writers' Twitter accounts, and follow them and get that information. That's what we do. Those are just a couple of things there, Scott, that I thought of off the top of my head that will help you break down these bowl games, because folks, they are a different animal than the regular season by a long shot. And I think to manage your bankroll properly, lower volume, look at the X's and O's, who runs the ball, this, that, and the other. Look at those coaching records. Look for reasons to take underdogs like Scott told you, and you will be better off. But you'd be a lot better off. Just come over to DocSports.com. Let him and I do the work. We'll take care of you. Click that link in the description below. Come on over to Docs. Tons of free information on bowl games and every other sport you can imagine, and a free $60 coming your way, as Scott mentioned. Thanks for tuning in to the Sports Betting 101, courtesy of Doc Sports.